Those that sit in poor me will never learn, right? The victim will never learn.
I've had mentors in the past who have pro bono done it for me and helped me, completely changed my life. And then it's now my obligation to pay that forward.
There's two lessons that you can take in life. You can either do it as yourself and cost you millions of dollars, or listen to somebody that's been there and done that and succeeded before you. And usually that's the cheapest way.
Time to get fired up. Yeah, I'm getting fired up.
Your thoughts can become plans, plans can become actions, and actions become a reality. We share powerful stories and simple steps to fast track your business and personal growth. Are you ready to make it happen? Let's get fired up. Welcome back. We're still here with Ralph, and on this episode, I want to dig into a little bit of some of the golden nuggets that I've taken out of Ralph's book, Life Done Right. Have a look, go check it out. I'm sure Google it, you'll be able to find it, or go to ralpharnania.com and that'll take in the right direction as well. But Ralph, there's a couple of things in your book that, one, really resonate with me, and two, for people like you with an extensive background and the journey you've been on, I want to try and extract some of the things for our audience, and even look for myself around what I might be able to do better to focus on these areas. And the first thing that I pulled out of it was your book talks about investing in personal growth. I'm a massive fan of it. I encourage my clients, my friends to do it. Some do, some don't. What's your background or experience on that, and what's the advice to people around how important that is?
There's two lessons that you can take in life. You can either do it, as I've said earlier, yourself and cost you millions of dollars, or listen to somebody that's been there and done that and succeeded before you. And usually that's the cheapest way. Whilst they may seem expensive at the time, you losing the money and the time to gain the experience is a lot more expensive than what their fees are, regardless of who it is. What I would share, though, is do your due diligence and make sure that the person that you're engaging is right for you, because not everybody is right for everybody else. So make sure that you gain what you want out of different people. Now, myself, my first mentor was at 20. I engaged a mentor from the US, very successful businessman, very wise, and he got me started on the whole self-help and development world, and that's where the growth started for me. It is important, though, to make sure that you invest in the right people in whatever area of your life. So, like today I have a spiritual coach, I have a fitness coach, I have a business coach that I still do have them, because it's good to have them around to be relevant, to remain relevant. Just because I ran a successful business 20 years ago, it doesn't mean I'm successful today. And how many people do you hear that, I did this, I did that, I did the other, but times change very quick. We live in a very fast-paced world today.
Yeah.
So you need to be relevant. That's why I love being in business still today, because when I talk to some of my clients, my coaching clients, I'm relevant. I'm on the same page. I can feel their pain because I have a business, so I know what they're going through. So it is important, to have all areas of your life covered. How much of it? That's totally up to you, where you want to invest in. But absolutely, just like going to the gym and lifting weights, over a period of time, you'll start to develop some shape. You can't go to the gym, have a trainer, sit on the bench, eat a chocolate bar and expect your trainer to do the weights for you. That's not how it works, but some people expect that as well. So, if you've got the right mentor, the right coach, it'll serve you well in life.
So what about the people might not be able to afford mentors and coaches, regardless of what their price is? Like, there's plenty of free resources out there. Then there's books, there's networking events, there's conferences you can go to. Would you advise exploring those things, or do you think that save your money and get to the mentor coach stage, because that's where the most value is?
Look, I think as a first step, there is a lot of product online. It's getting through the noise. Online's very busy. It's finding the right information for you. And again, it just comes down to due diligence. Make sure that the information that you're taking on is from someone that has done the work, that has walked in your shoes. I've seen many business coaches that have never owned a business.
Yeah.
And, ask them the question, if you don't have any money to pay wages this week, and see how they answer you, because they haven't been there. I can tell you what that's like. Yeah. So, start with that and then work your way, because I think it's a good it's a good base to have. You know, I had a young lady who came to me a few years ago, and she'd reached out to many different people that she was looking for mentorship. And she was a graduate in Victoria doing her MBA, and she reached out to me, would I be willing to mentor her on a pro bono basis? And I enjoy doing that because I want to see the next stage of life to come through. So I'm all about the youth coming through, the next generation, and building them. So there's a bit of that I do as well. And there are a lot of people out there that are willing to do that. Not every single person that calls them they're going to take on. But if you've got the right story and you're the right fit and you see the passion and enthusiasm in someone, you know, that's what I love, you know, because enthusiasm can't be bought. It has to be taught.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't buy enthusiasm. You know, you've got to have it in you, and you've got to be able to take it on from somebody else. So if I'm mentoring someone and they're taking on that enthusiasm from me and they're building that, you know, you can't go and buy it. You can't study enthusiasm. You've got to get it from somebody else.
Somewhere else, yeah. I was talking about this earlier, but like it's Gary Vee's written a book on it, but you know, the whole thank you economy. And you know, I've had mentors in the past who have pro bono done it for me and helped me, and then it's now my obligation to pay that forward. So, and some of these people are like, you know, going back to 18 years old. One in particular, I'll say his name, Chris Erickson. I don't know if you'll ever watch this, but if you do, completely changed my life. You know, didn't come from a great background, childhood, education, but he saw the ambition and said, mate, I was in that same position as you and someone helped me and I'm going to help you. Here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to work on, and excelled me forward. And as, you know, those other mentors have come through my life, I feel like it's my obligation to pay it forward to others as well. So, I mean, I love that because like if there is a fit between the relationship and the connection and you feel like you can add value to them, why not? I feel like it's almost like the right thing to do, yeah?
Yeah.
The other part of the book that I really enjoyed was real life experiences. And I think you've spoken about a bit of that as it relates to the business and where you've been burnt and the trust factor, also the real life experiences from the good things and work ethic that you learned from your father. But what else, I guess what I'm going to ask here is how important is the real life experience? And if you don't have it, should you go and seek it? Or is it basically how you react to what has happened to you?
I think life will teach you experiences regardless.
Yeah.
It's whether you're aware and taking the lesson on or not. Each and every one of us will get the experience. It's how we embrace the experience. Some of it look at those experiences as disaster. Some look at it as lessons that they can learn from. And I always like to say, go back and reflect on what happened and just ask yourself the question, what did I miss? Because if you ask yourself the question of what you missed, you'll find the answer, you'll find the solution, you'll find the growth, because you'll reevaluate that whole journey and you'll go, yeah, that's where I could have probably done something differently that would have given me a different result. And that's where the lessons learnt there at that point. Those that sit in poor me, right, will never learn.
Yeah.
Right? The victim will never learn. But if you're willing to be open about what the journey has been for you, and regardless of what that is, it doesn't matter whether it was, you know, being raised without one parent or being raised in a broken family or being no schooling or whatever it may be, right? It's how you take that on board. You know, I hated school. You know, I'm Australian born, from Italian parents. I was called a wog at a young age. I was bullied when bullying wasn't even a thing. And I hated school. So I didn't learn that well. And most of my experiences come from since I left school and learning through mentors, coaches, courses. That's how I basically evolved. So schooling isn't always the place that, you know, you can learn everything. If you want a degree, of course, you know, you go to school, you get a degree, but the lessons of life will come to you every single day. That's just life.
Just how it is. Do you think, just quickly, like, because, you know, the poor me, it's unfair, easy for you to say, Ralph, because you've got to this and that. Do you think, can they be changed, or is it just, it's impossible?
So I do something, you know, quite unique when I'm presenting, and I usually do a circle, right? Draw up a circle, and I'll write a problem or an issue or a challenge in the circle. Okay, here we've got a problem, for example. Okay, if we look at that problem, and I'll go to one side, and I'll go, if we look at that with a negative, and I write negative perspective, what are we going to get? Poor me, shouldn't have happened, life's bad, it was his fault, her fault, whatever. But if we take the same problem and we look at it with a positive outcome, what are we going to get? We're always going to get a solution. We're always going to find an outcome. Does the problem change? No. It's which way you look at it. Do I stand on the left and look at it negatively, or do I stand on the right and look at it positively? And if you look at it positively, you will always find a solution. You'll work through, understand where it was that you should have changed, tweaked, adjusted the journey, and you'll get a solution.
You'll get there. The last nugget of gold I saw in your book around, and I, again, really relates this, but surround yourself with the right people. Which more, I mean, can I flip that and say, get away from the wrong people?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which can hurt people's feelings. And people are like, you know, what do you mean we're not hanging out anymore? What do you mean you don't want to do this? What do you mean we're not going into business together? Like, what's your advice to people about detaching from the people that you know are not the right influence, the right fit, the right company?
Most people want to be liked.
Yeah.
That's life. That's just how human beings are made.
Yeah.
That's one of the cells in our body that we want to be liked. I really never got it until I got to the point where what you thought of me was none of my business.
Yeah.
When I got to that point, that's when everything changed to me. And it was many years ago, but it was on one of the speaking platforms that I was at over in the US, and this really nice old gentleman, I won't mention his name, but a very well-to-do person, well-known, came to me and he said, you know, it was great speech that you just did, and we spoke about a lot of things, and he said, we spoke about who in the audience, you know, I attracted or didn't attract, and I was worried about that. I go, I don't know if some people got it, and he said to me, in a crowd of 300, these are exact words, and I'll never forgot them, and I've mentioned it many, many times, in a crowd of 300, he said, there'll always be 3 that won't resonate. He said, if you focus on the 300 are going to miss out on your message. He goes, focus on the 300 and don't worry about the 3.
Amazing. Well, write that one down. I love that. Stick around, because in the last episode, we're going to talk to Ralph about the importance of mindset and how you can focus on your personal growth and take some of these key lessons that he's talking about. So stick around, we'll be back soon. If you've enjoyed this episode, then subscribe on YouTube or follow our podcast on your favorite platform. We drop a new episode every week. You'll be doing us a massive favor. If you know someone that would benefit from listening to this, then share it with them. You'll be doing them a massive favor. And if you want the tips, tools, and resources to support you on this journey, then join our exclusive Facebook community and follow our socials. You'll be doing yourself a massive favor.